Okay, we'll talk about Azure Data Lake Gen 1 versus Gen 2. Why Microsoft introduced another storage system. Um, is it really worth to go with that? So before going in depth of Azure Data Lake Gen 2, we should understand what is Blob Storage and Azure Data Lake Gen 1, and why Gen 2 is related to these two. Once we understand that, then we'll have a demo how we can migrate the existing data from Gen 1 to Gen 2, and how the existing program also point to Gen 2. So if you look at Blob Storage is the first storage system introduced by Microsoft Azure, right? So Blob storage is very cheap for storing the data, and it can store a lot of data, but it is not optimized for storing data for big data analytics. So it's normally stores data like backup files, log files, streaming video and audio, such kind of files. If I give one scenario, there was one scenario for my customer where we have to store archive the records for around 60 months of data, okay, and 80 months of record should be active, meaning we should be keep on reading the data from the 80 months of records and understanding the data inside. So for using 80 months of active records, we use Azure Data Lake Gen 1, which is optimized for big data analytics. And for archive records, we are storing blob storage. That's one scenario, right? And if you look at blob storage, we need to create one storage account. And inside storage account, we can create unlimited containers. And each container, we can create different types of blobs. And blob also, we have different types of blobs like blob, append blob, and page blob, right? So block uh, blob stores text and files, and it can store up to 4.75 terabytes of records per block. Each block is managed. It's a managed separate chunk of data and can be managed separately inside block. And append block also similar to block, same as block, except that it is fine tuned for appending the files, right? So one scenario I can think of for append blob is storing the log files from virtual machines. And page blob can have it's like a random access file, and it can store a file of up to 8 terabytes in size. So one scenario for page blob is like it can act as a virtual hard drive for the virtual machines, right? So that's all about high level picture of blob storage. And if you look at the Azure Data Lake Gen 1, it is highly dynamics, and it can store petabytes of records, and at the same time it have access control. It can give access to individual files. It is the file system is in hierarchical method, and it is easy to maintain. But compared to blob storage, Azure Data Lake Storage pretty much cost is involved. But the benefit of Azure Data Lake Gen 1 is it is tightly integrated with Active Directory, so you can give access to the members of your organization or the groups, application, etc. Right? Now, if you look at Azure Data Lake Gen 2, it's a combination of Blob Storage and Azure Data Lake Gen 1. So basically, I believe Microsoft want to consolidate the storage system into one instead of keeping blob storage as separate for storing the archive records, movie files, log files, etc. and the big data storage into another. They club these two together, right? And gen2 is developed on top of blob storage, and this also can store petabytes of data and totally fine-tuned for big data analytics. This also same as the creation of gen2, also similar to Azure Blob Storage, but at the time of creation it will give one option to enable the hierarchy. If you enable the hierarchy, then it is optimized for big data analytics and the file system will be enabled, right? So as in Data Lake Gen 1, this also tightly integrated with Azure Data Factory, and this also based on POSIX access controls. It this also can give access um, for the folders or files, meaning the parent folder, child folder, or even the file. Unlike Data Lake Gen 1, Gen 2 is also have the access key. We can give the access key to access this Gen 2, right? So this Gen 2 driver is suitable for all Apache um, tools like Apache Hadoop, then Databricks, also Azure Data Warehouse. It can the driver is available to connect with these two systems, right? So this is all about the high level idea of the difference between a blob gen 1 and gen 2. Now we can look into the actual demo how we can move the data from gen 2 to gen 1, because we had a scenario in my with my customer to move the data from gen 1 to gen 2, right? So the same method I'm describing here how we moved from gen 1 to gen 2. um, for that, let's go to Azure, Internet Explorer. Let me explain Azure Data Lake gen 1 first. So this is the gen 1 Explorer. We have demo, then under demo we have process and row. So my Databricks package, Databricks scripts is coming here and picking the data from raw folder and converting that into the processed layer by applying certain business logic, right? So once you move from Gen 1 to Gen 2, there are certain steps you need to keep in mind. First, we need to have similar folder structure. It is not mandatory, but if you have similar folder structure, then it is easy to migrate all the programs that use uh, these storage folders, right? So while moving, we can either move the complete root folder. If I say root folder, it is demo, or individual folders, or even individual file. That's completely up to you based on the requirement, right? So let's go to Azure Data Lake Gen 2. So before going here, before taking this one, I'll show you how we can create it. So let me open another one, because I'm not going to create it. I'm just giving you the steps how we can create, because I already have that Gen 2 created, right? So let's come here, click on the plus resource, then type Azure and sorry, type the storage account. So here you'll get create account, click on that. Here you can give your Visual Studio Professional, and if you want to use the existing resource group, you can use same resource group. Type your storage account name, then select the location and performance, whether you want standard or premium. For this demo I'm using standard because it's only small storage and it's not for the production purpose, it's just for demo purpose, right? Then on the next option is whether you need to use storage 1 or only the blob storage or version 2. So I'm just selecting version 2 and whether it should be cool or hot. So cool in the sense mostly we'll use it for archive purpose, but hot is for the active records, right? Now let's create. So validation passed. So here if you look at, you can see that hierarchical namespace is disabled, right? It should be enabled. So let's see how, why it is not. So you can go to the advanced portion and you can enable this hierarchical namespace equal to is enabled. If you're not enabled, then what happens is that will act as normal blob storage, right? Then just review and create, all your storage account will be ready. Now we'll go back to the existing storage account. Even if you're not enabled at the time of creation, you can change it from here. I think from properties. I think I forgot. um, Let me check where we can. Yeah, it is there in the configuration. You can come to the configuration and change all these settings. Right here, you can see the settings, and here is the data lake gen2 option. You can now it is enabled. You can disable it if you want. I think looks like once you enable, you'll not be able to disable it. The reason is I already have the data inside that. So here you can change whether it should be hot or cool. That's fine. Or you can change whether it should be secure transfer or enabled or not disabled. Um, but this one is I'm not able to change because the folder is already created as hierarchical method and given access to that. So once you remove that, then you will be able to disable it, right? So you need to make sure whether you want hierarchical namespace initially or not, right? Okay, now let's go to the storage explorer. It's in preview, but that's fine. If you don't want to use this one, you can download the application, desktop application, then you can access it. So here also I created the same folder. Here we have demo and we have processed and raw, right? So what I can do, I'll just remove this both the folders. um, Delete, yes, and this also I'll delete, yes. So now I don't have any folder here, right? So we'll pull the data from Azure Data Lake Gen 1. Now go to the Azure Data Factory. So this is the pipeline I created to data move from Gen 1 to Gen 2. It's a direct copy data from there. And if you look at here, we have source and sink, right? Source, I selected all the files inside the folder. So from where we are picking, you click on this edit connection. Here you can see the connection is pointing to demo slash row, and it's a generation 1, right? And go back here, click on the sync. Sync is I'm preserving the hierarchy. Even if you want flatten the hierarchy, you can do that, but I'm preserving the hierarchy here. And click on the edit button to know where we are going to copy this. It's a generation 2, storage account is generation 2, and similar path demo and row, right? I'm picking all the file. I'm not mapping to one specific file. If you want to have compression type, you can compress and store, right? But I'm not going to compress here now. And if you want to edit the generation 2, you can see how we are storage. So here is the storage account key. This is the storage URL. If you want, you can use Azure Key Vault, but in this demo I'll explain you that in later different session, different demo. Okay, so we all set. Now only thing you need to do is just run this. So here we can refresh it and see on the bottom of the window whether it's working fine or not. So looks like all the data is copied here. So total file return is 35.86 MB and 6 files total, right? Let's go there. Let's go to the gen2 and refresh. You will see all the folders, right? So this is how we can move the data from gen 1 to gen 2. In the next demo, we will see how we can point all the programs that you use gen 1 to gen 2. Okay, thanks for watching and see you in the next session. Bye bye.